Now let's turn to France, where the country's president, Emmanuel Macron, has praised the dignity and the courage of Gisèle Pelicot following a mass rape trial in which her ex-husband and 50 other defendants were found guilty. In a social media post this morning, Mr. Macron said that she had moved and inspired France and the world. Dominique Pelicot was jailed for 20 years for organising the repeated drugging and rape of his then-wife by dozens of strangers for over a decade. Under French law, the men have 10 days to decide if they will appeal against the convictions. So let's cross over to Paris to speak to Rokhaya Diallo, who's a French journalist. And Rokhaya, I know you've been writing about this and that extraordinary shifting of shame that Gisèle Pelicot was able to do from the victims of sexual assault to the perpetrators by waiving her anonymity.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. In fact, yeah, Gisèle Pelicot is now a face of the history of feminism in France. She decided not to have the trial behind closed doors, but to have it open to the public as well as to the press, so that she became the symbol of sexual violence. And we've been able to witness what she has been enduring for over a decade. So it's something very important that happened yesterday.
Something incredibly important, and obviously she was the victim that, because she was so heavily sedated, she was comatose, she was absolutely innocent in all of this. What does this mean in terms of future rape cases when you look at victims? Because obviously she was a very specific person in all of this. Other victims, it's so difficult when it comes to these types of rape cases.
Indeed, what Gisèle Pelicot has that most of victims of sexual assault don't is the fact that her husband, Dominique Pelicot, video recorded all the acts. So there were 20,000 videos to prove that she was drugged unconscious during those crimes. And the fact that she was strongly sedated makes her somehow unable to be accused of being one of the reasons of what she endured, which unfortunately happens to many of the women who come public to accuse people who perpetrate a sexual assault against her. So she is somehow the perfect victim, because there is no way she can bear any responsibility from what she has had to face. Even if it's unfair to accuse the victims of being the reason from what they endure. But she even if the focus is on her, that shouldn't make us look away from the thousands of other victims who do not have any way to prove what they have had to face.
Rokhaya, you wrote, while this case was going on, you wrote that in France, 91% of the victims know their abusers. And in 96% of cases, they were male, and that home is where the place is most likely to be, where people are exposed to violence. Do we need to stop talking about degrees of rape? Does that blur and complicate our understanding of rape, especially when we're talking about a victim when it's not potentially clear-cut and people are starting to question that victim?
Definitely. I think that we need to get rid of the idea of the pervert monster who assaults, strange women unknown women. Because most of the victims of rape or sexual assault are the victims of crimes committed by people that they already know, mostly in their families. So we need to shift the way we think about rape as something that doesn't come from someone who is unknown, but that comes from the closest relatives. And I think that the trial has shown, with the wide range of men who were accused alongside Dominique Pelicot, that ordinary men perpetrate those kind of crimes.
Rokhaya Diallo, a French journalist who was writing about this throughout this extraordinary case in France. Thank you so much.